Hey everyone. I hope you guys are in the building. Thank you guys for joining me, my Facebook group, YouTube. Um, Thank you guys for coming in. Diamond and Michael, do y'all want to
Yeah,
greet?
I wanted to for anybody that's tuning in from the Moneymakers. I wanted to say what's up, Moneymakers. Thank you guys so much for joining, and everybody that joins every Saturday. Pretty much, I want to say thank you for joining in, and I wanted to also ask where you guys are tuning in from. I see that we have East Harlem in the building. So if you guys, as you
Yes.
pour in, please let us know where are you guys coming from.
Mike, you want to greet your people?
Just want to say, welcome back, and like glad everybody here. I'm ready. I'm excited about this. I'm trying not to fan out right now because I'm excited about this guest we got right now. So I just can't wait.
And we thank you guys for joining us. And if you on top of this ground, it's a good day. All I gotta say, it's a good day if you're here. Thank y'all for joining me from Chicago. I see you, California, Philadelphia. Angela, thank you for joining us. Kevin, all of you guys that come in, I'll be remiss. I wish I can just name you all, but charge it to my head and not my heart. Thank you guys for coming in. And we have an awesome guest for tonight. This gentleman has been the author of a collection of books that me and Mike been following for a minute, for a good while. And I'm talking about early or mid 2000s that we came in, and he have just his information on credit, you guys. This man is a monster when it comes to credit. If you don't want just the surface level of credit, if you want to get into that matrix of credit, this is the man that you need to follow. Hands down. If y'all don't have his books, I suggest tonight you get his books. And if you don't know, then you need to start to learn about credit, and he's going to teach you about the ins and outs if you get his collections. So we want to introduce, for some of y'all might know him. If not, you need to get to know him tonight. And this is Mr. Corey P. Smith, and we're bringing him to the stage. Good evening, Mr. Smith. Thank you for joining us. How are you?
Man, I'm doing good, Sherry. I can't complain. I appreciate that introduction.
But it is
I don't get that
absolutely
a whole lot.
true. You I don't know if some of the younger guys, a lot of people are getting a lot of their information straight off of social media. And but you can tell a lot of people who have kind of followed your stuff and reinventing it. Like I can tell some of the people, and it's so many like copycats now that people will get information from a person who really got information from you. And I've been amazed. I ask people, y'all never heard of this gentleman? And this is it. Those that never heard of you, like in the credit game, they really don't know about credit. That's the way I see it. Like if you're really that person about credit, they would know about you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not to just toot your horn, but I mean that's how I kind of gauge people,
Right.
on credit. If they don't know about you, it's a little shaky. But we really thank you for being here tonight.
Yeah, I'm glad you had me on. Like I hadn't done one of these in a minute. Like I hadn't done a it's been some years. I did one with a friend of mine maybe 3 years ago, but it was this conversation about life, marriage, as far as getting on here, like doing a podcast with somebody or whatever, YouTube. I hadn't done it in years. I can't remember
But
the
you
last one.
are on YouTube yourself, and he has his own channel. You guys, Diamond, drop that link for them if y'all can. Go and subscribe and follow. Mr. Smith, because he really is a wealth full of knowledge. And so I know I reached out to you because I had followed you for so many years, like your books, because it wasn't like really that social media thing. You know, a lot of your
Right.
stuff was print. And so when I saw that you were dropping another book, that's when I got the alert through Amazon. And that's what made me reach out to you. So I'm very honored. You're almost like Prince now. You know how Prince went away and not doing interviews. Like Prince was
Yeah.
a legend, but he went away. You know, Beyonce don't do interviews or whatever. So I was honored when you did accept the invitation. So I want to really go over some of your collection to really, we have a list, an organized list of questions. And
Okay.
Mike, do you have the questions and for you? Because Mike was the one that uh really created these questions. Now, I'll be honest, my brother Mike, that's why I got him to come on really with me, because I learned a lot from him. So I've been begging him for years. He's been the one that really like point me in the direction of credit while I was investing. And he was always a follower of your information. And that's how I encountered you so many years ago. So Mike, do you want to take up and ask the first question?
I mean, sure. What inspired you to first start teaching about credit?
Hmm. I was broke. I was broke, and at the time I was young. My wife was younger, and we had a baby girl, and we were actually staying in an apartment. And at the time, I thought that I wanted to be a school teacher. So I was teaching at a local high school in Memphis, East High School, and I had my degree from Tennessee State, but I never had any money. Like, get paid every 2 weeks. Once the rent paid, other little bills. I had no money, and it, this literally happened to me. I woke up like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and at this time, me and my wife were sleeping on the floor. We
Wow.
had a pallet on the floor with my daughter, who's now, my oldest daughter, who's now grown. But I woke up, and I said, I just told her, I woke up, I said, baby, I said, we gotta let this apartment go. I said, we gotta let this apartment go, move in with your grandmother, move in with my mom. I said, I was like, I gotta fix my name. I gotta fix our name. I said,
Wow.
it's the only way we're gonna get out of this situation. It's not gonna be the paycheck from the school. Because even that part of the apartment that we were staying in, you know, I had gotten it in. I had got that apartment. I had I had a CPN that I used, back
Wow.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talking. This was like 2001. I had a CPN that we living in an apartment off of. So we ended up letting the apartment go, and that put me on my quest to learn about credit. And once I got into it, I got better at it, and I started researching business credit, and it just took off from there. I just started I started dissecting everything I could about credit, everything I could about how credit related to the banks, everything I could about how the collection agencies were connected to the credit bureaus, all the laws. It became my job. Um, like once I got that first lick, I quit teaching, and that it became my full time job. Credit, credit, credit. And eventually moved on. I put the first book out. I posted a book yesterday, I think, the yellow book. It's a little yellow book, and that's what I started out selling. And then it transitioned from there. I set up the publishing company, came out with the official book, How to Outsmart the Credit Bureaus. I
Mm.
ended up getting
Mhm.
distribution through Baker and Taylor.
Wow.
Um, yeah, I just made them. I ended up this guy named Robin Bright. He helped me out a whole lot because I'm a self-published author. I wasn't. They don't they don't give you distribution. And he got me distribution, and kind of went from there. Uh, I met a couple of people. Like I met my well, I've never said this. I said it on one of my events.
Mhm.
Who my mentor was. I met a guy named Terrence Harris. He was the first mentor that I had, and I watched him. I watched everything he did. I watched how he moved. I watched his conversations. I watched the deals that he did when it came to real estate, the people that he met. If he was talking to them, if it's something that I didn't understand, I would be sending a message to my wife as a note to myself, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
So
amazing. And I wanted to ask him the second question you came up with, Mike. What is the biggest challenge in teaching people about money today? Because, like you said, when you dropped your first book, you said publishing. See, it was no KDP. Everybody now is a self publisher. But what is the difference from what what's the biggest challenge from even from back then versus today to teach people about money today and teaching people about money and credit today? What's the biggest challenge you find?
Biggest challenge that I find is that people listen with their eyes and not with their ears. See,
Mm,
listening is free. Listening is free, and life is like a chess game. So you have to really listen to what somebody's saying in order to decide, like, what's my next move going to be. And the reason why I say people listen with their eyes, because they're more attracted to the flashy things that they see, and it gets stuck in their
mhm.
brain like I'm supposed to get rich overnight.
mm,
Nobody gets rich overnight. You're not gonna get rich overnight. And being rich is having something. You've generated something if you use credit to get to a certain um, to get to a certain point where your finances enable you to invest in something that's going to work while you sleep. Uh, and I think that people, because they think, "Well, I'll get rich overnight," they begin to get frustrated. And once frustration sets in, they think it not clear. So I think the biggest thing that I've noticed, I just said, I always tell people, it's free to listen. Because
mm,
it's free to listen, and you have to know when it comes to information, what's real and what's not, what's fake. The internet has made everything like that. It's fast, and it confuses people. So they don't know how to distinguish. Like, man, is this person real? Is this information that he's putting out for real? And then once you get the information, you have to know how to execute, and you
mm,
have to, and you have to execute, because if you don't execute, um, it's never going to happen to you. As far as like if you trying to get to a certain point in your life where you're comfortable. So just to answer that question, that the biggest challenge is they don't listen. They listening with their eyes,
mm,
like, oh, I can get this. It's gonna happen overnight. Like what I'm doing, this whole process of logistics and transportation. In my mind, I
mhm.
say this is going to take me 3 years for it to be in full operation, where it's making the type of money where I can build it. Okay, this is something else that I can leave my kids.
Yes.
Period. Because right now, everything I do is for them. Just basically preparing them for, okay, dad gonna die one day, mom gonna die one day. I'm real big on. Well, now I am. I'm real big on insurance, and my wife, she's been big on it since we was
Mm,
in our 20s, but I never took heed to it. So I'm big. I like collect insurance policy.
mm,
Um, and I put, like, I see it on the internet now. There's the UIL policies, but been doing that. I've been putting money into that every month for years, and I collect term life policy because I never know. And that happened to
mm,
me. Like, I had a stroke a couple of years ago, and it could have been it, but my family would have been straight. They straight now, but it would have been even better off in my death. And that's the way you want to believe it. You want to leave your family in a better position, you know, than them. Like when you were here, when you're gone, they need to be in a better position. And
And I be like one of the most I think profound things that you always said is you don't want to die with an 850 credit score. Like, what good is it to die with the 850 credit score? And that was one of your themes of your book. Before people, it was sexy now. Now it's sexy, generational wealth. That was always like the driving theme of your book. And I remember used to watching interviews, and that's what you say. You don't want to die with an 850 credit score. Like your kids can't inherit your credit score. And Dame Dash said something very important. I think that even changed the Breakfast Club. We start to see Charlemagne and all of them. They kind of mocked him when he was talking about I hustle for my last name. Y'all hustle for your first name. And he was talking about building, institutions or businesses or whatever that you can leave for your children. So I know one of those paradigm shifts that I learned from you was that statement itself. A lot of people and I tell them it's not like a peeing contest. A lot of people, oh, I got an 850 credit score. If you got an 850 credit score, it means you're not using it. You know what I'm saying to us? Because you need to use that 850 credit score or that good credit, 740 really. If you're not moving with a 740 credit score, you're basically getting the same interest rates as somebody with an 850 in so many terms, depending on what you're going for. But you want to really have that credit score working for you in that case.
right. Yeah, Dame Dash. Basically, what he was saying is, you're never gonna remember a wealthy person. You always remember a wealthy person's last name. Always Rockefeller. You know, it'll be Bill Gates. It'll be Elon. It'll be Musk.
Trump.
Yeah,
People
Trump.
hate him, but let's be honest. Trump.
Yeah, I like Trump. People
You
probably,
ain't gonna get I ain't gonna say I like him, but
Let me
I
push
can't
back
hate
from here.
I ain't gonna hate him. I ain't gonna lie to you.
That's a whole nother conversation.
That's a
But
whole nother conversation that
yeah,
folks ain't ready for.
yeah,
I ain't
yeah.
gonna say I like him, but I don't
I
hate
I
him.
like him because he's comical to me, but I think some of the stuff he does on purpose, you know, just because of my relationships with people from other countries, uh, I understood some of the things that he did, and you know, if you're an entrepreneur, then 45 was your guy. If you worked the 9 to 5, you probably wasn't going to like it. And I started to, just knowing about how other foreign countries, as far as the whole immigration thing, how they allow a certain number of each country has a set number that the United States is going to let in the United States every year. So his thing was, like in Chicago, guy just told me they dropped off thousands of illegal immigrants in downtown in the hood. So what does that do? Who is the poor? You know, at the bottom, black people. So that makes it even harder. But that's a whole nother conversation.
No,
Yeah.
I would like
I got a
to go
question.
deeper into that. But go ahead, Diamond. Because
Before,
that's what people need to know. We're gonna go back to that one right
yeah,
there.
let's put a pin in that one. But I had a question when it came to the money portion. I know my audience is here looking at passive income and the money, and I see that with your books you have been wildly successful, especially when it comes to the competition that is on Amazon. And my question was, what does that success look like for you? A question: were you an Amazon bestseller? Because the amount of reviews that you have
Yeah,
suggests that you definitely were. And when it came to creating your books, was it enough for you to be able to sustain yourself and have financial freedom from the books alone? And also, how much time between each book did it take you to write one and then put another one out?
Well, I hadn't put a book out in 5 years. A lot happened since then. I had the books, I didn't put them out. Uh, it probably takes me some books it takes longer than others. Like some books it take me 6 months. Some books it might take me 2 months.
Mm,
I think one book took me a year.
mm-hmm,
I think the shorter books, 2 months. But all of my books, you have to really pay attention to me and what I say. All of my books, it's one. They all go together.
Yeah.
They all like I got more of them, but they all go together.
mm-hmm,
So I had one guy that inboxed me and said, "Hey, I'm a fan, but the last Critics Report people, it wasn't a good book.
mm,
They, you know, it hadn't clicked with you yet. But once it clicked with him, you would realize what was so good about it. But
Yeah,
mm,
that
all of
was
them
good.
is pieces to the book. You know, people are looking for, like Sherry, you asked, what's the biggest challenge? People are looking for like this, like something, like man, something that they're gonna get rich
Mm-hmm.
off of. And that's not like, and I don't be trying to boast, but Marvin could attest to this. I do very well. Like I'm straight. My books, he just asked me with the books. I make a lot of money off of the books. A lot. Like right now, I'm getting the books translated to Swahili, Chinese, and Spanish.
Mm.
Why Chinese? Why Chinese? One, it's billions of people.
Mm-hmm.
Why
Yeah.
Swahili? Okay, so I'm doing something in Kenya right now. Like, I got a video I was gonna post where I bought the land, getting in
Mm-hmm.
as well. Um, when people come to the United States, they know more about the United States history and how it works. They know more about the country than the people that live here. That's because the United States, they only teach people about the United States. So me having the book translated into these languages, okay, because credit is new to them. They
Mm.
want to know about it. So what better way if I already have books for them in their language? I sell
Mm.
books in China now, but not not as many as it can be.
Mm.
So even with that, I'm in the process of doing that right now. But the books have been like I'm not gonna lie, like I was shocked. Like I made a lot of money. Like if you know my story, like at one point the feds was on me. They said, "Hey, you did like $2.4 million in fraudulent loans," but I lost all of that money. I had to
Mm.
go and get a job. I was working when I wrote the conspiracy of credit. I was working as a corrections officer
Wow.
in Memphis, and I had no idea that book was going to do what it did. But what happened? I ended up doing a podcast like now with this guy, Brother Rich, the Underground Railroad,
Oh
and
yeah.
man, yeah. And the next thing I know, like I got a check from Amazon, and the check man was big, and I was like, whoa, like, and I ended up, I ended up quitting the penal form. I said, okay, I'm ready to go because I had already was, had my credit that I was gonna start piecing things back together anyway. But yeah, the books have like I was shocked when that happened, but now you know people buy the books. Like I get 4 checks from Audible, uh, from Ingram, from Baker and Taylor, and from the paperback from Amazon every month, like clockwork. So even if that alone, like if I needed to live off that money, my family, I could pay a lot of my bills like with the checks. So I'll continue to do, you know, put them out, uh, and I make sure that like my family has access to whatever they need to keep it going even after I'm gone. Because books, they you got people that still read Robert Greene books, 48
Oh
Mhm.
Laws of
yeah.
Power. They
Yeah.
still read How to Eat,
The
One and
Law of
all those.
Seduction by Robert
Yeah,
Greene was another big one, another good
yeah,
one.
33
yeah,
Strategies of War. That's another one.
Yeah, another one.
yeah. So books, you know, because
So,
now I'm
question.
at the
So, you did that all when you started publishing your books. You did that all without a following, like you just put your books out there and they just kind of blew up, or how did that happen?
yeah. I didn't have a following when I put out How to Outsmart the Credit Bureaus. I had no following. I
Wow,
had
that's
no following.
crazy.
Like I was going around to the car dealerships in Memphis with the yellow book, selling them for like 10 bucks.
Wow.
Wow.
And
Now, and like I said, when I first segued, he started before Amazon KDP,
Wow.
and so this was in like the mid 2000s. So
yeah,
this is how
2004.
long that this man has been out here putting, and this is the level of knowledge that he has, in the credit game. And that's why we said, if somebody that say they know about credit don't like really know him, then they're really not a lot of times abreast on credit because he's been doing it for so long. Now, one thing I want to touch on, um it's a lot like with coming to your books. All right, I want to just highlight, like with you, we had a conversation, um and I want to just abreast people. If you're not a real thinker, if you are somebody who's a sheep, I'm just going to put it like that. It's very hard sometimes to follow if you are like really into this system, because you touched on some things, and I see some triggers in the comment section. A lot of people are political puppets, they're not a free thinker. No, I'm just going to keep it 100 because y'all not going to like me. If you're not, you might have to click off or unfollow, whatever. But we're not here for that. If you're in the same situation, right? And you've been doing the same thing and you still got bad credit or you still broke, I suggest, if you're wise, it said the really the definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over again and not getting a result. So if
Expecting the same
you
result.
still broke, you still got bad credit, but you constantly been doing the same thing over and over. And I said this a lot. A lot of people are hate the rich way too much. And I'll tell you any day, Trump changed my life with his book. I told you, the law, I mean, what it was, art of
Part
the
of the
deal.
deal.
Art of the Deal changed my life. And Robert Kiyosaki with Rich Dad Poor Dad. And so when I'm telling y'all what Mr. Smith even break down in his thing, the conspiracy of credit. And I want to go back to what they don't understand about the Chicago thing, because I'm about to break some people's hearts up in here. You know what I'm saying? Because if not, miss me. Explain to them, Mr. Smith, because I made a videos of this. Tell them, and your book talk about this, how they judge your credit scores and how loans. Like a lot of people think that I'm being judged off of my good credit in certain areas. I mean, they really are. And this is where I'm going to deal with these sheep, because a lot of y'all problem that you don't understand, the game is rigged against you. You in
Yeah,
certain communities and they dropping off people that have no credit score, it's against you. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't understand how the system judge you by the average credit score in your own area. So
right.
can you go on, like, because even I learned like different things from your book about different codes that they have in,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, on your credit report. Can you just give people a little, I know it's heavy, but a little bit of peek
yeah. I
on
mean, nah,
the system?
it's heavy, but it's simple. Like like I always say, like when you realize that everything is algorithms, everything when it comes to mortgage, real estate. when it comes to banking, when it comes to credit, is algorithms. So they judging you for more than you right than more than just your credit score. There's census tracks involved. Uh, that people have no census track, redlining, zip codes, all of that plays plays a major part, plays the biggest part into them deciding whether or not uh, how much money they're going to extend you, uh, or if they're even going to deal with you. And people don't realize that because people don't they don't research things. They, like I said, they don't listen. It's free to listen. Um, so I mean, it's not that deep. Like it's it's just this simple. Like you can take your credit report. Well, Experian does it more than anybody. And they basically telling you on there, okay, you black, you white. Okay, you make about $30,000. You make about $40,000 a year. Okay, if you make this much, you only gonna qualify. You know, this how much money we're gonna give you in the loan. This how much money we're gonna give you on a credit card. But we're not gonna give you any money at all. And it plays. It's the same thing even with mortgages. Like you know, you have to look all the way back into the whole. You know how ghettos was created, and how black communities got divided from the white communities being the suburbs. It's algorithm, whether you black or white. And a lot of people they don't they don't realize that. They just going. They're just going based off this person saying, yeah, I got $50,000, you know. And yet when you get all that money, what I always say is more than just about credit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this. When was the last time you seen a homeless person?
What?
Any one of y'all answer it.
Maybe about 2 or 3 days ago.
Did he ask you for any money? And if he did, did
No.
he ask you for any? Okay,
Yes.
Yes.
okay. He asked you for money, right? He asked you for money, right? Even if you gave it to him, which most of the time people don't. When you walked away from him, did you really care? Did you
Mm.
really care about that homeless person? Let's be
Personally,
honest.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Do you care right now? Care enough to bring them in and change their life? Like, come on, right?
Bring them in my home.
So that's what people. That's what people have to realize. And I'm not gonna say uh, people in general, but I'm just saying that's the way you have to put in your mind. This is how the world perceives me. And when I say world, I mean corporations, whether it be your job, whether it be banks, whether it be the credit bureaus, whether it be politicians. That's what you have to put in your mind. They don't care nothing about you. The game is not fair. No matter how much you want to believe, oh, you can do this, you can do that. Like I have friends, like I for real have friends. They got real bread. That and the only reason why I came into contact with them was because me trying to do business in bigger spaces. They would never come on this internet and talk about how did you get rich. I've tried to get them to come on Zoom calls. They're not gonna do it.
Mm.
When people even realize that rich people not gonna tell you how they got rich. One, it would exert too much energy for them to do that, and they're not gonna do that. Number two, when people realize also that 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 when you let's say if you get a loan, so to speak, it could be for $100,000, and if you don't have the right information to even know like, okay, what am I going to do this besides go buy a car or go invest in something that I think might give me a quick return. Like you're gonna end up just what you said, back in the same place again. You're gonna end up back in the same place, and then you'll be trying to fix your credit again, or you'll be trying to get another loan, and the wheels are just turning.
And I really
So
do think that with people, what it's a lot of when it comes to politics, and I tell people when it comes down to red or blue, neither one is for you. It's the same bird, different size of the wings. You need to look at your household a lot of time, and you need to do and make decisions best for your household. And like you're saying, that generational wealth piece that I think a lot of people need to focus on. And you do need to get in your books and understand certain parts of the algorithm. It's a reason why they're not going to let migrants sit in Martha's Vineyard. Y'all need to understand why would they not do that. It's a reason why they're not going to build low income housing, or if they try to in certain areas, why they getting that up out of there. And so because it's consequences when it comes to business, and people don't understand. I work with banks, I work with algorithms. And so if y'all don't know these little increment, like little parts of things, you'll be blinded. It's a reason why when business starts up, like when people, you're creating an LLC, why people tell you to get a virtual office. If you in a certain zip code, sometimes you don't want to be in that zip code. And you broke that down too, like even in your books, about changing like different, where you're disputing, changing your addresses on certain things, because a lot of people don't understand sometimes a lot of why their resistance to credit and getting things off of their credit report is a lot of these things that people don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like just on how the credit system work. I know I found out in your book how you was talking about, if you're disputing, changing your address. You were with the first ones that really said that back in the day. Now everybody is saying it like it's a matter of fact. But the first time I encountered that was you talking about how the post office, and it's really true. The post office, you put in that change your address, they track that, they notify that. You put in a change your address, you'll start, if you got Experian, ping, ping, your address been changed.
Right.
So a lot of people are trapped in this credit game, even trapped in poverty, because they don't really focus on what they'll say. Maybe some of the stuff you talk about is way too deep. No, it's where you need to go so you understand the pitfalls of these traps that's working against you. So I find in your book, you just talk about it on so many levels that people really don't see. And it's just so much to meet the eye, like more than meet the eye, that people are seeing that's working against them. So
Yeah, because I can't, even when I do my books, I can't always say, or even when I speak, I can't always say what I want to say. No, like it's certain things when people, even now, like when people, like I know something right now that I've been doing for years. I know like a certain car play that I can do with a vehicle, and I know how to do it to the point where me taking that car back, because of the time frame that you have to take it back,
mhm.
where it shows up on your credit, and then show three months of payment history, and it shows paid off. Perfectly legal. But if I get on and tell people one thing, I like you say, people like parrots, and that's why I stopped putting real information on the internet. But I know their play. So let's say I tell people how to do their play. It'll be it'll be it'll be ate up 6 months to a year. They'll be like, okay, this is what they doing, and they'll change. That's why I always say, I said, rich people never gonna tell you how they got rich. They're not, and that's the reason why I always say when people say knowledge is power, I will always say no. Knowledge has its greatest power when it remains a secret. If everybody know about it, it's not powerful anymore. It has no power, like credit. Like you have to approach credit repair in a certain way. Now with AI, but now you even before you get the Oscar, you got the OCR you have to deal with. So it recognizes things like, oh, I've seen this before. This letter is frivolous because I've seen this letter before. So this is a credit repair company. This is somebody. So you have to get past that. You have to know how to every dispute that you're doing, you have to know what type of approach to take. Even like on one of my calls that I be doing, I told people about the whole okay dispute through the CEO's office, dispute through the legal department. Like you know, you have to be persistent, but you'll get some results. Like you got to understand who you're dealing with. You got to understand the Equifax, or if you want to call it LexisNexis. A thing that we was using back in the day was major with the whole police thing. We was cop logic. These people peep game so much. They always say, "Oh, okay, I see what they doing now. They using cop logic and filing real police reports." I tell you what, we're gonna go buy cop logic. And the bureaus bought cop logic.
Wow.
Checkmate.
Wow.
So when you on this internet and you putting out all this information, the same way they got the feds looking at the bad guys, the bureaus got people on there too. They got to know the tricks too.
Mm.
So that's the reason why you got to be very strategic in how you approach them. People be like, "Oh, the stuff in your book don't work." It still works. It still works. But you have to know you have to present it in a different way now. You can't you know just like the world is changing, even with AI, you have to present it in a different way. It works, you
And
know.
I think what your book teaches is the fundamentals of the system. And my brother Mike, we played, chess. We would do that to play chess. And sometimes people try to, memorize. And it's good that people that are really at that higher level memorize openings, mid game strategies and endings. But if you learn how the real game work, you know what I'm saying? You can just the fundamentals of the game, where you're not being trapped up, that if you learn a certain opening and
So,
somebody know how to rebuttal that, where you don't know what's your next move. And I think that's what your books is about. It teaches you the game of credit. What is the fundamentals of credit, and really the system of credit. And I think that's where people need to understand, even with their credit profile. You were one of the first people I heard talk about putting a real estate account, making moves, putting a paid real estate account, getting that, like, different techniques to report on your profile and why that is important. Now, maybe people won't do that, but I'm just saying it's at least gets your mind to where people ownership needs to be part of your credit journey. Go ahead, Diamond.
I wanted to ask a question. If you could narrow down from all of your books, and you could narrow it down to the top three things that people need to know about credit, like let's say they're completely beginners, their credit is shot. What is the top three things? Like, okay, you need to know X, Y, and Z about your credit, and you need to do X, Y, and Z about your credit.
Uh, Probably the first thing that I would have to say people need to know about their credit. They need to know what's on their credit, know what's on your credit, and you need to know like, okay, I see what's on my credit, what's good and what's bad. Okay, now I've identified what's good and what's bad. Okay, now I know what to take off. Okay, I know what to take off. Now what's going to be my next plan of action? And then okay, this is the next plan of action. Let me get some information to make sure that I'm disputing this correctly. You follow me? Uh, and then even in the process of doing that, I would also be thinking about what do I need to put on my credit to enhance it, to give me the score that I'm looking for. And like your mom spoke about, um, you have to decide like, am I in? A lot of people don't know this, but okay, am I in the right zip code? Because you can buy a zip code now. You could buy a residential, just like you do virtual business addresses. You can do virtual residential addresses. You know, uh, same way it has good zip codes. So I guess if that answers your question, like, cause kind of hard to say. That's the way that would be my approach. Because a lot of people don't even understand their credit, and that's the reason why I feel like you need to learn credit. You need to learn it. You need to try to work through it because if I'm teaching it, somebody else is teaching it. What happens when they don't teach it anymore? Somebody, what happens? You in this you're handicapped. So and then when you learn about credit, it opens your mind up to so many other things. Okay, this I understand this now. You follow me? Like when I started to learn about credit, okay, man, I understand how this goes with real estate. I understand how real estate goes with banking. I understand like okay, if I want a real estate loan, this bank is this what they do. Man, this is one of their top products. So I'm gonna go to this bank for a real estate loan. Like even with business credit. Oh, business credit card is one of their top products. So I'll go to this bank. Okay. Even get deeper, like, okay, I know this bank don't really mess with black people. So I ain't going there. But I know this bank in whatever state, they love lending to minorities. So I'm gonna go open up an account and I'm gonna get some money from them. Because they advertise. You got banks that advertise like they mess like we provide loans to minorities, you know? So all of these things, I might be all over the place, or some people might not get what I'm saying. That's the reason why I say my books, they all go together. You gotta read them. Stuff's gotta start clicking with you. But yeah,
One of the questions I wanted to ask, and Mike listed, why the title "Credit is for Poor People." That people are, it says, people are addicted to poverty, and that the art on that was really like it throws you back because it's a child holding a sign that said, when the poor has nothing else to eat, they'll eat the rich. Can you explain, like, because that was very, like, it's deep. What was you trying to relay in that book and in that statement?
credit is for poor people. It is. And the one thing you have to realize is that if I'm poor, if I'm born into poverty, what do I have? What do I have? I
Nothing.
don't have cash. I have
Yeah.
nothing. But I do have my name. I have my name. That's it. And who needs credit more than a person that's got money? I
Mm.
do. I need it. Donald Trump, like you said, trigger. I remember seeing him on his show. He said he was in a restaurant with about 20, 30 people. He said it came out, oh, Mr. Trump, don't worry about it. You don't have to pay for anything. And he said, I'm rich. But you got people in the restaurant, they not rich. They gotta pay. Follow me? So
Mhm.
the rich person's name operates just like your name operates, only he gets more benefits. He's rich
Mm.
and you're poor. So the only things you have to stand on is your name. So you have to be mindful. Your credit has to be on point. So credit is for poor people, not the rich. Truth be told, the truth be told, I've got to a credit has become a luxury to you. Like I don't use my credit like that anymore. I don't check my credit score the way that I used to. Like I don't use it like that anymore because I've put things in place like as far I got like I told you I borrowed money from myself to go buy 5 trucks. All right, I borrowed it from myself, and it came from me putting money into my insurance, into my insurance every month. Every month. It's like one thing. I got a 6 year old granddaughter. You know what me and my wife make her do right today that we make her do. We give her an allowance. Like she's in school now, kindergarten. So we give her $8 every day. We give her $8. We make her save $5 every day. So you save $5 for 360, 300 and what is 352 days. After you save $5 every day. So at the end of the year, she got a nice little nest egg. Same thing with an adult. If you save $40 every day or $20, you save $40, you have about $15,000 at the end of the year. That's easy. Because most people miss off $40 in a day, whether it's on fast food or whatever. They definitely miss off $20. So once you start to, reason why we're doing it because okay, we putting this in place now. It's a habit. Becomes a
Mm,
habit to her. She wants to save. Like, ooh, look how much like last year. In the last year. Oh man, I saved this much money. You have to do that as you even as an adult.
mm,
Same thing as you dream. You have to when you dream about things in life, you have to have the mindset like a kid. You gotta believe. Like when you're a kid,
yes.
you feel like you could do I could be I can do anything like life you just carefree. You have to remain that way. But the problem is, as the older we get, life begins to beat up on us, and we don't believe it anymore. We don't believe it anymore. Some make it through. Some stay focused. Like I always tell the story of my dad. Like he would take me into these houses. We couldn't afford them, but I used to think my father was rich. Nah, not even close. But he gave me the capacity to dream.
Well, let
But
me
that's
ask
why I
you
said that credit is for poor people.
Well, I want to ask you this question that led right up to that. What is the common misconception do you think people have about credit?
What's the common misconception? Hmm, that's a hard one. Right there. uh, uh, I think when most people think of in terms of credit, they think because they have a good credit score, they pretty much gonna be able to get whatever they want, and
That's the
that's
right.
not always true. Yeah, it's not always true. You can have my wife has very good credit. I do know my wife does,
Mhm.
and there's been some things she didn't get approved for,
Mm,
like, and we ended up just buying it or whatever. But just because you got a great credit, man, listen, it's not about the credit.
mm,
It's not about the credit. Like if I had no credit, I have enough knowledge, enough experiences now that I can go produce some money. Like look at me. I'm in a truck. I'm in a truck right now. I went all the way through the process. Let me go get my CDLs. Let me learn everything about a truck. Let me learn everything about the business. Let me go to Let me learn about freight brokers because I'm in my mind. I'm putting a whole business together, and it wasn't credit didn't do nothing of what it has nothing to do with what I'm doing right now. It will one day, but on
mm,
a grander scale. But when people learn, like, yeah, use the credit, use it, use it if you can use it to get to a certain point, but don't depend on it. You think rich
mm,
people? Do you think if you can talk to a real rich person, somebody that really has money? I don't mean somebody that has a couple of $1 million. But somebody that really has money. You think they depend on credit?
mm,
They're not depending on credit. They're putting together deals.
mm,
Like 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 I like I wish I had the video I'll show you. I have not been out of this country. I did a deal in Kenya because somebody, the whole thing, they over there, I'm over here. I did all of this via phone, fax, everything. Bought the land, I'm going over there, but credit had nothing to do with it.
Mm.
So when people get that in their mind, like I always said, like, you get in your mind, like, it's not about, because it ain't about the credit.
I got a
It's not about the
question. I got a question. So, say you have somebody that, like say somebody on the stream, they're struggling with their bills.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the money. They're struggling with their bills. So, what's the process? Would you tell them? Because I know you said before you could borrow $1 million fast, you can make it. So,
right.
what process would you tell them? Like, what steps would you tell them to go? What would you do to how to get you out your hole? How to get you to the spot where how do a person get to that spot where you at right now? Or coming close to it.
I'm gonna tell you what I did, and they might not want to do this, but that's where the hole that you hear now, man, that you hear now, credit part. When I couldn't do it,
Mm-hmm.
and my bills was, I had a lot of bills. That's when I started thinking. That's what took me to the whole place where, okay, I'm gonna go get a homeless person. I'm gonna go
Mm,
get
I
my
remember.
I'm gonna go
Remember
get
that.
my I'm gonna go get my cousin that
I
he don't
remember.
really care about his credit. Like, but he has it and he don't know the resources he had. So I talked to him and let him know this what's gonna happen. And I do it now, bam, I got a foundation to build off of. So if I was that person and then we gotta get to a point, it's like Marvin told me. He said, man, we gotta trust each other. We gotta trust each other.
Mm,
So if I'm that person, I gotta find somebody that has something that I can use, like a relative, and they don't know what they have, and just ask them, hey, can we do this together? And do it, like do it, like I I I, I put together a deal off just I brought a small group of people together to get something done that I knew I couldn't do myself. I just like literally did this a couple of months ago because I couldn't do it by myself. I made sure all the paperwork was right. We got it. Everybody signed and did whatever they need to do, and we got it done. So if I'm that person, I'm in over my head with bills. Like, you got, let me think. What can I do? Oh, I can do that. That's what I did. Like, and that's how I got to the whole thing. Oh, credit investors. Now you hear people say credit partners.
mm.
Okay.
And that's
So
a,
you got
a excellent thing because that's one of the themes that we've been pushing as a family.
Yeah, I was
We-
about to say, does that mean collaboration? Are you talking about collaborating with your family members and collaborating with your network? Is that what you're saying?
um you have when I say collaborating, like when I talk about credit investors, you have to actually, like, if you, your mom, and your uncle,
Mm-hmm.
okay, at this point, I'll say, oh, we're gonna create a company because we trying to do a certain business venture.
Mm-hmm.
All of us gonna be owners on this company. All of us has all of us have great credit. Or if one person don't have good credit, well, he can't go on the company masthead. It's gonna be the other two. We're gonna go to the bank. We know that we on point with our credit, you know. That's when we're gonna go to the bank and we're gonna get the money that we need together. That's what I mean when I say, credit investor.
And that's what we've been talking about on the channel, building businesses with people that you can. If your credit, like I was telling people, if your credit is messed up, you might have to, that child that's coming into adolescence, you might have to start working with your spouse if you have a business and build people credit scores that's around you. Finding different ways, like you're saying, it's about the deal, and I think one of the themes that you always seem to come back to, it's not just to get credit to get things. You need a strategy. You really need a plan. And like you're saying, the plan is to create generational wealth and some kind of cash flow. in that, getting assets, like you're saying, doing deals. And I think a lot of people, they want to leverage credit to get just non-assets. No, I'm
Yeah.
just, it's getting non-working debt assets. You know what I'm saying? Nothing that is going to make money for them. And one prime example, like Mike would say, now you have all these platforms. And Diamond, this is a segue to your group. Why are y'all getting repos when you got Turo? If your car going to get taken anywhere, you at that verge, wouldn't it be better to put that car on a platform? Make that car work. Because I have talked to people, they got two spouses in the home, and one of the spouse car going to get repo. Why wouldn't y'all just ride together and put that car on a
Mm-hmm.
platform and let that car at least work for you? You know what I'm saying? Bunk together. And it's about that working together to strategize and kind of get yourself out of that hole, to start finding ways to cash flow. And maybe if that car produced for you, now you got a working asset, and you might, if you didn't let your credit get to that point where it's being damaged, you might have now can go get another vehicle. But it's like what you're saying, trying to find partners, try to work together, or find people that you can work with to try to cash flow, or even build businesses. Even we had the business seminar, and that's one of the ways. Maybe if your credit is not right there, you need to put somebody else as the majority owner on that business, and you're the less owner, like under 25% or so,
Right.
and
Mm-hmm.
let them be on the articles of incorporation, or even what is that, your business what is that, not the business agreement, but the operation agreements, because sometimes banks want to
Operating
see
agreement.
that. So
Right.
start to think outside the box, to get yourself out of those situations, and ultimately to start making cash flow. Because I think a lot of people are over leveraging themselves, but now we have a lot. And I know people going to get mad, when you got all this money printing, and there's certain policies that's coming, like, with just financial lending, higher interest rates. Y'all don't know those are policies being put in place. That's hurting you. And now with inflation, y'all can't outwork this. Everything is going up except your pay. So you have to figure out ways to start cash flowing. Because like I tell people, a lot of them don't have a credit problem. A lot of y'all got a cash flow problem. Like, I haven't met people that just said, I'm just going to mess up my credit today. Something either happened, like they lose a job, a child gets sick, or something, and they just don't have enough income coming in. So go ahead, Diamond.
With that being said, there was a couple questions in the chat that asked, well, what do I do? Okay, say the credit, I messed up my credit. How do I start rebuilding my credit to be on the right page? Because that was a couple questions over here in the chat.
If they messed up their credit,
Yeah, like I done messed up. Now, how do I start rebuilding?
you got to get to dispute. You got to. It's this simple. You got to start disputing. You got to depend on how many accounts that you have. Like if you got 10 accounts, okay. I'm gonna start with these 3 accounts, and I'm gonna focus on these 3 accounts. I'm gonna go in hard. I'm gonna go in hard on these 3 accounts. And that's all I'm gonna focus on. I get them done. I'm gonna take the other 3 and I'm gonna focus on it. Because you don't want to do it all. If you got 10 bad accounts, I'm disputing all of them. Like you don't want to do it that way. At least I would. I'll just focus on so many. Okay, 3. I'm gonna focus on these. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. Um, as far as from the standpoint of, I'm gonna dispute with the credit bureaus, and I'm gonna dispute with the creditor, and I'll just do it like that. And when I got those 3 off, I'll move on to the next 3. That's you not that way you're not over extending yourself. You know,
Yeah,
That makes sense.
it's a marathon, not a sprint. You gotta definitely
Yeah,
gotta think of it like that.
yeah. So
I
like,
guess another question I would have is a question that we get a lot is okay, say someone they have late payments, they got collections, they got anchor, like they got the whole nine going on. What do they attack first? Do they attack the collections first? Do they attack the inquiry? Like, what should be the plan of attack first?
wherever inquiries, collection, late payments, obviously the inquiries would be first, the collections would be second. The late payments, you almost want to try to take their whole account off.
Yeah.
Late payments are hard to get off. I had somebody reach out to me about, I'm not talking about nobody,
Mhm.
but they were like, the person was like, they bought a letter from this person like $500 or whatever, saying said late payments wasn't real and you could use this letter to get the late payment off or something. And it didn't work. And it's not gonna work. Late payments, they real. Like be late on the bill and see how real they are. So that's the order I did out with inquiries, collection accounts, and then the late payments. But the late payments, you want to try to take those completely off. No, don't dispute with the creditor. Dispute with the credit bureaus. Whatever strategy you have to come up with. 'Cause you don't want to go to the creditor and dispute a late payment because they got all your stuff. They know you
Hmm.
late. They know you late. So that's what I would do.
There was another question from Vanessa. I want to address it. She was asking what to put on your credit report if your credit is completely clean or if it's blank. So, where do you start?
Oh man, today you got a lot of different options. It ain't just Capital One anymore. You got all the like what is it? You got self credit builder, all these type um, rent reporters. You got a lot of stuff that you can just connect your Hulu account, your Netflix account, and they'll start reporting for you. And of course, you can. Old Capital One is faithful when you have no credit. Apply for a Capital One card, whether it be unsecured or secured. Um, and of course, I can't tell you over this, but there's a card trick that you can actually go to a car lot, a particular car lot, and get a whole car put on your credit. Even if you put down money, you know you're gonna get that money back. But it'll report. It's a way you have to do it, and like it works. Been using it, you know.
Now, my question is, do you advocate for people to now go towards that business side of credit? Say if a person now say, I like the young lady said, what do I, put on my credit report? Say from her stance, Vanessa, now let's say, and I'm not saying you did Vanessa, but just say she did the work. She cleaned her credit report up. What would you say to those people who now have a good credit score? What would be your kind of mindset or a mode of attack or the best way to maintain that or really excel from that good credit score? What would be your standpoint for people
Oh
like
yeah,
that?
I'm definitely going to the business side.
Mhm.
I'm definitely, I'm definitely gonna build a business. I'm the CEO. Like I'm definitely gonna. That's the direction that I'm going in. Because once you start to build your the credit up from the from the business side, it enables you to do like you'll be amazed at the type of deals you're able to do now as a business as opposed to doing it on a personal level. It's like one of not this one, last book. I put a whole list of a lot of the banks that I've used over the years since 2004. Some that I forgot, but when you start to set up your business and build your business credit, like let's say Tinker Bank in Oklahoma, You don't have to be in business you know, you hear that you got to be in business 2 years. You don't have to be in business 2 years with a bank like Tinker, right? They'll give you a loan. They'll give you a business loan. You just got to make sure all the other little things in place, like okay, you registered as a foreign corporation in Oklahoma if you're not based out of there, things like that. Okay, you got your personal credit. They're gonna look at that, but if it's clean, even if it's clean, they'll start you out more than likely with something, even if it's $25,000. Like so, it's banks like that throughout the United States. You have to just do your research and seek them out and get started from there. But I would definitely like put myself behind the business.
Now, a
Period.
question that people ask a lot, just for people that have grace, say, okay, I'm a person that clean my credit report, right? But I don't know what I want to do in business. Like, I know it's some people, like some of us are a little more experienced, like, we have other people we network with that can bring you ideas. But say the other person here, they might be here, they're on a job, a 9 to 5. What would be some advice for them to kind of get in that mode of thinking out of exchanging time for kind of money, kind of mindset? Where would you, could you give some advice on what they might should look into or where to start?
Like as far as a business idea,
Or yeah, just getting on that business side of credit, or business idea, how to generate income. Because if I get this credit, right, access to this credit, this business credit, and if you got good credit, you could do that very easily if you set a business up properly. But what should I do now with this 50,000,
uh,
100,000?
see,
Like, what would I
like
do?
like I'm not gonna lie to you. The only reason why for me to answer that for someone at this stage is because things have changed since I've been there. Like, and so my idea of what I'm going to do is a lot bigger than
Mhm.
like I'm probably going to like I'm at the stage now where okay, I want to do dairy farming. They're not there. And because I'm not in a place where I'm just starting out anymore and times have changed, so it would be kind of hard for me to tell them to invest in this because some people when things don't go right and they don't, that could damage them. It could discourage them to the point where they stop. But when a person when it if I'm if I'm doing a 9 to 5, one thing that should motivate you is this. And this might sound crazy. You got to think to yourself, I'm gonna die one day, point blank. But do I want to die in the position that I'm in now? Do I want to die working this job? Do I want to die somebody else having control over my life? That should be one of the motivating factors for you. And then I would start to really look what's the trend right now? What are people investing in? Uh, and it's you could just get on. Tell you one thing I do sometimes, and see that's why I say it's hard. Sometimes I have ideas in my head, and I'll just Google. Like when I started to invest in dry bulk and cargo shipping, that was an idea I just had in my head. So I started to Google and do research. you know, and that doesn't cost a lot of money. But I was just at the time, I was just taking money and I wasn't trading. I was just buying and holding because I knew even then, okay, it's not going nowhere. Ships, they're gonna sail because it makes the world go round. Just like you have people in trucking. Like before I got into trucking, I was already 2 truck companies I've been buying stock in, you know, because I already knew people say, well, ain't no money in trucking. That's a lie. Somebody making money. I'm looking at 100 trucks right now, right? So I know, like beyond me driving the truck, I was already investing in trucks because the truck stops, if the ship stops, the world stops. You, you, you know, so I would have to say they have to, though they have to really think and pay attention. That's why I said listen. Even if you can look at the news sometimes. I don't mean the news that reports that they just reporting crime. I mean the other type of news. Like they talking about politics, they talking about business, they talking about Wall Street. Maybe that might give you an idea. Uh, but like I said, it would be kind of hard because I'm not in this space anymore. Like I'm I'm in a different I'm in a different space. So my idea of what it might not be what they need at this time. I don't know if
But
that
no,
makes sense.
that is totally fair. And go ahead, Diamond. You asked the questions in the comments.
I have a quick question that comes from the chat. So, somebody was saying they were newly introduced to you. What is the first book that they need to purchase from you?
Man, my favorite book is the Credit Dictionary. Like I
Okay.
told you, a lot of people think, oh, there's just a dictionary. If you read the book, then you know it's more than I talk about a lot of, you know, I even put a poem in there that I wrote. You know what I'm saying? But I talked about when I say that book has some of me in it, there's those were uh my thoughts and some of my feelings that I had um when I was struggling, like trying to like get to this place that I'm in now. Like I always like somebody asked me today, he said, did you know you was gonna make it? Did you ever have doubt or whatever? When I was going through a lot of stuff, I said I always knew. I always knew I was gonna make it. I didn't know how. I always knew that I was gonna have some things that I wanted in life. I didn't know how. And that's pretty much how you're not gonna know how. Hell, because if you knew how, like it probably scared the hell out of a lot of us if we knew, okay, man, we might go through this in order to get to this place. So I don't want to go through that. Like, you like it's almost like Tracy Morgan got he got hit in the back by a Walmart truck and got $90 million. I don't want to go through that. It's kind of like life. So, a person just has to keep in mind, like I know well, I'm not a person. I'm just saying me. I told him like I knew that I was gonna make make it to where I wanted to be. I just didn't know how. And now I truly am like happy with where I'm at. Like I think when you asked me about the books and all that, like I knew that my family was in a good position when I had a stroke. I had a
Mhm.
stroke and I was down for a whole year. I knew my family was in a good position because we didn't miss a beat. We didn't miss a beat. Only thing we did was we spent more money, but we didn't miss a beat. My wife and kids then nothing stopped. Then nothing stopped. You know.
Well, maybe you can give some insight to this question. Antoine Wright said, is it good to pay, or it was somebody else that, is it good to pay off your monthly debts every month for your credit? Like your credit
Um,
cards, I believe this is what they're saying, like, totally down.
my FICO would tell you don't do it. Other people would
Mhm.
tell you no, don't do it. But me myself, do it. Like I pay my, if when I do use my credit card, I just pay them off. But like I said, I'm not using them like that. I'm not using them like that. Because at the end of the day, credit cards is debt. It's debt. You know, and your job is to get out of debt. Use them
Okay.
for what you need to use them for, and then get out of it.
All right.
Like, like I keep resorting back to the guy that called me today because you know I've talked to him now. He's a real cool guy. Like I just told him like, here, this is some of the things that I've done.
Hmm.
Do this. And it takes a little bit of money to do these things, and then before you know it, oh, I got money saved up. You
Mm.
know, it takes a little bit of, I just told them some of the things that I did, like where let's say one company, I just sold some stuff. I stole some stock, you know. But for the most part, I don't sell stock. Like I
Mm.
just for what I'm investing in, I just buy and I and I'm holding it because I don't worry about it. It's not going anywhere.
Well, let me ask you one last question because we got a Donnybrook in the chat. You done mentioned the CPN now. And we got to
Yeah.
address this.
I
'Cause,
was gonna say that.
we
People
gotta
wanna know what
address
the
the
CPN is.
CPN.
Yeah, you gotta address.
Now they like, because you mentioned earlier back in the day you had to use the CPN. Can you please get
Well,
people
are
to
they?
stand on the CPN? Because we got people like, no, you could
People
do it.
want to know what a
Or is this,
CPN
yeah,
is.
what a CPN
How do
is.
you use it legally? Because they're hearing that a CPN is illegal. And yeah, what is a CPN and how?
Okay, so I used to have a course. I don't have the course no more. I actually used to show how to make the CPN and all that. A CPN is not illegal, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's illegal, like, and I'm telling you, like, I'm telling you this from my own experience. I had the Secret Service show up at my door, and when you think you're flying on the radar, you're not. They
Mm.
had all of my numbers, like that I had created. They had a folder with all of my numbers, right? But what they didn't know, like the guy said, we don't know if these came from an old lady or a baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna reach out to the credit bureau, blah blah blah. I said, cool, because I already knew it was all my information. The only thing that was made up was the number, right? So the only thing the creditors could do to me was accelerate the loan. That means close. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. Because it was my name, my date of birth, all of that. I ain't steal nobody information. But you got some people that's not making the CPN correctly. Like, I don't use them no more because they not like they used to be. Like when when we was using them back in the day, we was getting bread with them like 100,000. Like we was getting, like, you can't do that now. So I don't even see the use for them. And if you get one now, you have to have a lot of patience to really build it up, and it has to be built out the right way. But they're not illegal. I seen on Instagram where the girl guy was at the
Mm-hmm.
dentist. She got busted because that was somebody else's information. But what are they gonna bust you on if it's your own information? Identity theft? Nah, it's me.
Well,
Like
I
my
will
CPN.
say this for the people. He just said the feds visit him. So
Yeah,
if whether
yeah,
it's illegal or not, like me paying my taxes, it's a debate over is taxes legal or not. I just don't want the feds at my door. So I
yeah.
think I'm going
Well,
to
well,
bypass the Fed thing and I just
well.
clean my credit
When
up.
they came to my door, like, it was, that was one of the reasons. Like, you gotta think I was doing this stuff back in the day.
Dang,
So
yeah.
even with the feds, they don't know everything. They didn't understand what I was doing. So this is new to them. What I was doing back then is new to them. The whole with the homeless people and going to the banks. I had control of them. Like, I'll tell anybody, if you use a credit investor, you need to make sure you got all your paperwork in place, the agreement, the power of attorney, everything. Because if anything comes out, nah, like this person is aware, this person is involved, blah blah blah. So that
And
that was the reason.
Biggie said something. He said about, hustling. All the money I stacked was on the money for bail. So at the same
Right.
time, something might be because a lot of people don't understand what he's saying. He did that back in the day. So you might use this and get something with a CPN. People have this debate across the world, whether it's legal or not. But here's Sherry thing. Is it worth the risk? What is your thing, Mike? You talk about game strategy. Right.
Oh,
What?
oh,
No. What's that? That. what you said,
Well,
the poker, the game strategy.
expected value. You're talking about
Well,
like
basically,
value
is
for
the
value.
risk worth the reward? Is
Yeah.
the thing. If I gotta have feds at this point, y'all, he's talking back in the day. Back in the day, you could get multiple social security numbers. People was rocking it like that. But today, it ain't flying like that.
Wait, let me tell you what it was that Uncle Mike said, because I remember what Uncle Mike said. He said, "Can you live with the consequences?"
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's-
you live with that heat though. That's what it is. Like, yo, you ready for it?
He said, "Can you live with the consequences if the thing don't go the way that you thought it was gonna go? Can you live with those
That's
consequences?"
it.
And maybe Mr. Smith can stand 10 toes down in front of the feds. I might not. I can't. I
Nah,
might not
hey,
get back under the
hey,
pressure under the feds. I'll let them
yeah,
know where all the bodies is buried, or all of y'all bodies is buried.
nah, I wasn't. Don't. Now, I wasn't happy about. I wasn't happy about none of that. Like I wasn't happy about none of that. That's not anything that I wanted. You know,
It happened.
I went through it. Yeah, I started losing my hair when that happened because we ain't talking about the police. We talking about the FBI. So man, I ain't gonna lie. Like the very first time I found a car from, it was the postal inspector. And that came from, when you
Wow.
talk about that whole jamming thing,
Yeah,
jamming the
might be
credit
that's
file
what
back
it is.
then. That came from, it was a card from the postal inspector. Please call me. So I was nervous because you
Mhm.
know this something new. So nah, I don't. I wasn't happy about that. Then they subpoenaed my wife and me before a grand jury. My wife was pregnant at the time with our second kid, and she didn't have nothing. She didn't know what I was doing.
Well, so
But
that just sounds like a no CPN, right? The moral of the story, kids.
yeah, but that wasn't for the CPN. But if you asking me like with the CPNs now, like I wouldn't use them. Like that's old. Yeah, that's
More of
old.
the story. I saw a story where Wesley Snipes wasn't paying his taxes and he was trying to, but he did some jail time.
Yeah, you
I
gotta pay your
don't have a
taxes.
legal fees, so I just break them off their little money to live my life peacefully, y'all. So what I'm just saying, y'all, just the long story short, because a lot of people do, go back and forth with that. I would avoid it right now. That's just Sherry. I mean, whether or not, just like the taxes thing, is taxes illegal? It's a lot of people. Well, if you don't sign the 1040,
They
I mean, I'm
be
just saying, I don't know. They might be right. They might be right. I just don't want the smoke, y'all. I don't want the smoke. You know what I'm saying? So I'll break off these folks some of their money just to live a peaceful life. And so what I'm telling y'all, maybe y'all should just, live your peaceful life. But get it how you live it, if that's how you feel, because you ain't gonna listen, with the coldest winter ever. When she said at the end, I wanted to tell her, but she wouldn't listen anyway. Some of y'all ain't gonna listen anyway. So, but I'm just telling you, do you gotta do the bid like the girl from like winter, from the coldest winter ever? Do you have to go through that, or could you avoid all of that? And I feel like you can, like he just said, build in business credit with partners. That sounds more safer to me.
That's the line to take.
That's all I'm just saying. That when he said that, feds didn't come into play. I don't think. I don't know. Maybe I
nah
caught the story
nah.
wrong. But I didn't
Yeah.
hear feds proceed.
I share
That sounds good to me. So no
the
feds came.
last
That's
yeah
the door for me.
the last interaction that I had with the FBI was this. The last thing one of them said to me, I was walking out of they're located on Humphreys in Memphis, and it was a lady that was heading all of it. And the last thing she said to me, she said, "So what are you doing now?" I said, "I'm writing books." And she said, "Well, keep writing books." That was the last time I ever seen somebody from
Somebody that
the
hashtag
FBI.
no feds. Yeah, hashtag guys no feds. I think what we learned.
Hashtag keep writing books.
Hashtag write book. Hashtag write book. So what I got to take away,
Write the book.
I think business partners is the way to go, and I'll be honest, y'all, if y'all can learn how to cash flow, honestly, even from the times when he was doing business, and Michael can say that in the early 2000s or the mid 2000s, you don't have all these fintech companies. Even if you got bad credit now, you guys, if you learn how to, like he said, that skill set of making money, you can kind of get funded now.
Yep.
And so that's what he's telling you. Credit, and it was, the bar was so heavy, if y'all ain't catch it. He said credit is for poor people, because if you poor, you don't have nothing but your name.
Yeah.
So I think one of his takeaways was saying, if you're not in that place, if you don't have money, maybe focus on the value of your name. And doing a CPN maybe might not all the time be your name, or maybe variations of your name. So, but we want you, I want you to prosper long term. So if you take Sherry advice, go with the plans and strategies, even through his experience that he's telling you is the long-term plan, that now he's in trucking. If y'all read his books, he touched on some of this stuff or follow his story. I kind of knew that part of his story, but this is why he kind of now he built businesses. That was just
interested in the fact that he was able to have, because 700 reviews on an Amazon book is crazy. That means that you probably had 10 times more purchases, because most people don't leave reviews. So to have 700 plus reviews is crazy. And to have that without a following, without being, famous and not being the Obamas, is absolutely insane. And so it's just following that thing that well, and being able to produce something from that, from your knowledge and from what your experience was, is really astonishing to me. And the fact that you were able to produce multiple books from that is really, really cool to me. And being able to not only, like you said, those royalties that you're going to get from those books is going to go over to your family is really, really, really cool to me.
And let me slow you down, Diamond. He's famous in my book.
I wasn't saying it like that.
I'm pretty sure. It's them little things, like if you're a Star Trek person, you might not know who Dr.
I'll say you more
Trekkie know who he is. So no, I'm just gonna let you know that you famous in my book.
No, I didn't mean it like that.
But I know what you're saying, because it's amazing. Because what we're saying though, this man been putting out game, but way before Amazon, like what he's telling you back then.
Social media, like before.
But you gotta really understand what he's saying with the publishing houses back in the day. Like you said, you couldn't get a book deal without being known like that. It costs money to print those books.
That's what I'm saying.
So
astonishing that you were able to do that without having the publication behind you, without having a company, a manager behind. That's crazy. That to me, it's just crazy to be able to do that. That's astonishing.
And it's a way that is telling you the cash flow, because this man said he didn't get an education in really credit. He used his knowledge of him getting out there learning. And this is what we tell y'all all the time. Y'all can get a following, create books now on Amazon off of your own personal knowledge. He might not be certified this and that, but the knowledge this man know from being in the game is well beyond of anybody I heard that so-called got that education talking surface level. And so use that, like Tim Ferriss always talk about the 4-hour work week, and just taking information, and you guys can make an empire. So I'll land that plane there. Mr. Smith, it was a pleasure to have you. So I'm going to let Michael end on y'all question, Diamond. And I don't want to keep you any longer. It was just an awesome pleasure to have you here.
Oh man, I was happy to come. Like I said, I hadn't done this in a minute, but
Oh, you
I had
welcome back
fun.
anytime. We here every Saturday. So if you want to
Let,
stop
let me
through,
let me let me say this. I just thought about something like when you have people that's trying to do things, they can do things as a family. Like one thing me and my wife, um, one that we did it. It doesn't cost a lot of money. Like you can get in with 50 or 100,000 sometimes. You can invest in these small boutique hotels and you
mm,
can and you can get residuals off of that. And you know, the buy-in, like I said, there have been some buy-ins that was only $50,000 or even, you know, 100,000. Stuff like that. Multiple streams of income. So for the person that had asked that question, you know, they might not be there, but they can get to that point, you know. So I do a lot of things. I do a lot of things. I
and I
do a
want
lot of
y'all to
things.
pay attention. This man had money for so long. He just said y'all could just drop 50 or 100. You know? Yo, he's this way. So this how good life has gotten to him from learning the game of credit. You know what I'm saying? Because man, just for being at that space in life where you come from, to be able to really invest, because a lot of people aren't even there like that. I got the whole yo, Mike, do you got the credit is for poor people? Can you please hold up? Do you have that? It's in the
I got it on Kindle. I got everything on Kindle
oh,
and that's
y'all gotta
it.
look at
Oh,
the
it looked like Uncle
I got
Mike
everything.
asked a question. Let's
Mike
let
got it in his office.
wait.
I got the whole thing, but that credit is for poor people. Y'all gotta look at the cover on that. It
Yeah.
was just so profound
I'm
on
so
the message.
perplexed that you were able to do that with just word of mouth. That's crazy. Like that's crazy because
Man,
now we have to do so much promotion to get a book going. So even if mom, like you with your following, you would have to tell people, yo, this book is out
Yeah.
there. But to put a book 700 reviews is crazy on a book. That's crazy because that
yeah,
means like
that,
10x people have purchased that. That's crazy. So it's just
yeah.
I'm
That's
fascinated.
that's the reason I posted something the other day. I just posted. It was that book that Mike had. Um, like Amazon has like the top 100 books in credit,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm always gonna have a book in there, but I was just showing like Robert Kiyosaki, 13. I was number 12. The person that always be at the top, and that's because his following
Mhm.
is so big, is
Dave Ramsey.
what's Dave Ramsey.
Dave
He's
Ramsey.
he,
Yeah.
yeah.
Dave
I,
Ramsey.
I I hadn't been over. I had not been able to overtake him yet, but one day I am. You know, I got a half finished documentary that I probably had the last 6 years. I just had never finished it. Credit is for poor people. I told my wife, I said, man, I promise I'm gonna try to get that done like the top of
There we go.
next
There you go.
year.
Look, he got it. There you go. And look at the imagery on that. It's just really powerful. But you just like, yo, you killed it with that the reason why the book was named that. Cause I'm like, why did he name it? Credit is for, and it was just crazy how it said when the poor don't have anything else to eat, they eat the rich. And I was like,
Right, but but
man,
but but
he
that
talked about the
artwork though,
purge before it was
I
the
had to
purge.
yeah, that artwork I had to go through a lot. That was a piece of artwork that I had to go through a lot to be able to use.
Yeah.
That just went with what I was trying to do, and I just had the graphic designer like do what he did. Like all of the books I try to come up with I did them my like as far as the imagery on the front of them. Like
Mm.
I come up with something to try to go along with what's inside the book. But yeah, yeah. Like you asked
And
me
can
about
I
why.
leave last on that, y'all, just to follow up what he's saying about your name? I had Diamond when I was 21, right? And I had a good job, but what he's saying with credit, that's how I started to do real estate investing. I just leveraged my name. I didn't personally have anything, as an asset, but making $50,000 a year and getting a multifamily. got me to start gaining wealth. And then the next house at 25. But I leveraged my name to control assets. So I think that's what he's saying, especially a lot with the student loan crisis. You know, a lot of people are being taught to go and get a job. And if you're already starting at zero and you're getting 100,000 in student loan debt, does that make sense? And you talked about that in one of your book, Mr. Smith. I ain't going to go there, but you was talking about like, but I'll leave that one alone. I'll leave that one alone. But you made like a move, but thinking about that, you know, but you had a different spin of a person you knew that could have did something different instead of with the student loan, because it's an easy loan to get. But it's an easy loan to get, you guys, to get you in slavery. You know, like the United States eat off of you. That's the new slavery, really, is that student loan debt. And you can go from what they're getting you 100,000 and leverage your credit to get you an asset. So I want
to say answer because I know Uncle Mike. I feel like Uncle Mike got something to say, but I wanted to answer this question here. So I have a friend that's 20K in credit card debt, but that's not working right now. Any advice to them to deal with that type of debt? So what advice do all of you have to deal with that student loan debt, to deal with debt in general?
Cash flow. Find something. You know, he just brought up Dave Ramsey. And Dave Ramsey will tell you, I mean, I don't attest to everything Dave said, but he was like he said, just find something to do, deliver pizzas. You know, I don't know why people, when they have debt, they want to hear something different. How about like making money to pay it off? You know what I'm saying? Maybe like cash flowing somewhere else. And this is where I talked about that car being repo. It's so many people like, well, why don't you put that car on the block? Like, that don't even dawn on people. If you want to be
I feel like it's privileged to just say, because it's kind of like a pull yourself up by the bootstraps.
No, it's not. It's to make money. You got in that situation because you didn't have enough cash flow, or it's some kind of decisions that you're making. And Diamond, you already know it's a lot of stuff you present every day you could do online. Let's knock it off. See, when Mr. Smith, I'm going, because I don't bag rub. When Mr. Smith and I encountered his books, Mike could tell you I was at Ford working 2 jobs, 2 8-hour jobs. If I had what y'all have right now, at 2 8-hour jobs, and Diamond, you know, 2 kids as a single mama, and I had to figure it out and work physically. Y'all don't even have to do that. You got Uber where you can work when you want. I mean, you know, I had to be at work on time, sit there. We didn't have the gig economy. So what I'm telling you, you got things where you can do laundry in your own house to make money. So what I'm just trying to open your mind is maybe use some of the things you have. If you got a car, maybe right now you might have to do Uber Eats in your spare time to start paying that off. Put that credit card away. So what I would do, either cut it up. If you don't, put it to the side. You'll be surprised. And I talk about this in my book. You'll be surprised what I did. Get some, say you get paid once a week, twice a month. Like Mr. Smith said, a lot of people will spend $40, like he teaching his grandchildren. You'll spend that on Popeyes. How about throwing that on that credit card? You know, but when you get paid, throw that on that credit card on every pay period. You'll be surprised. Before, boom, throw that on that credit card, then pay the minimum, you know, down, and find different ways to just make some cash flow to pay on that debt, you know, to start at least starting to tackle that debt. So that's why I'm saying, if this was before 2010 and you ain't had a gig economy, a lot of stuff you can do at home. You could use your car for a delivery. You can, what was that? Go share.
And if you don't have a car, there are still, I'm playing devil's advocate of the people that say, well, you trying to tell us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, right? And that's racist.
Yeah, I am though.
Etc. Right?
I'm just saying, it is what it is. Life is hard.
Like Corey was just saying that, yo, if you don't have a car, partner with somebody. If you don't have something, partner up with somebody. Somebody got it in your circle. Partner up with somebody. Figure something out. Let's share something. So hey, I'm gonna drop you off at work. Let me use your car for Uber. Let me use your car for DoorDash. Then you drop me off at work and you do what you do. So you gotta use something you can do.
I met a girl at McDonald's. I asked her, I said, "You look so business minded." She said, "I got a business." She sell dinners out of her house. Come on now. Y'all, a lot of y'all let people come and eat at your house for free and eat up your food. I know people in the hood that'll do a fish fry every Friday and take their EBT and flip it. We from Newark. Come on, let's stop playing. The church been making money off of dinners, okay? Maybe y'all can make some dinners out of your house. You know, like we not that far. We black people, African Americans, we knew like people that if you're cooking anyway, have these people that come in and eat off of you, do it, having the buy a plate. So it's different things, like even cooking cakes. It was fundraisers we did off of cakes, yo. Y'all, Diamond, where was the girl that was going to barbershops? I remember this girl raising money in Newark for her prom. She put candy in bags, going to the barbershops, selling cupcakes at the barbershops, and the dudes was buying it. Do you know how much it is to make little cupcakes? You know what and it's an easy thing to move. So what we're saying is what I'm saying, nobody else. I'll let this be on me. Think outside the box. Use your skill set. Sell. I see dudes in Newark used to get it from me all the time selling waters on the street corner. You know what I'm saying? If I ain't have to get out of my way, y'all getting that $150, $2 all day. So just think of other ways to make your money work for you. I don't know. That's me.
Mm.
Right.
I think that you know what I think. I think that people have to get to a point where they not. It's almost like some people are ashamed to do certain things. Like, look, I'm not boasting, but I could be chilling at the crib, right? I'm never gonna retire. I never get to a point where I'll submit myself to anybody for information. Like I'll submit myself to you if I think, oh, she got some information that I need. So, hey, teach me. Or if it's something I want to do, like this truck, I want to learn about this business because I'm gonna turn it into I'm gonna do it. Like I'm not too, and for real, like I could be chilling, like you know, but
Mm-hmm.
man, I'm probably never gonna retire. Like I'm always gonna be into something until to the casket drop. But I think, like you asked me about people taking pride in their poverty, right? That's been with me a long time because I had a cousin. He got murdered, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we were young, and it was going around the neighborhood like the guy who did it is like they happy about it. Like yo, we from Riverside, South Memphis, right? So I'm like, man, these niggas, they really take pride in where they come
Mm-hmm.
from, and there's poverty. Like, why you happy about why you happy about that? Why you taking pride in your poverty? That's where I got there from. Like, I ain't taking pride in this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to do better than this, and I'm gonna do whatever I can to get out of this situation. And I think that people have to turn it around. Like, you don't have to take pride in your poverty from their standpoint, but you have to take pride in yourself to be like, I'm willing to work at McDonald's. I'm willing to do fish fries. I'm willing to sell candy because I know what the end looks like. I know what the end looks like. You know, I don't know if this is the last thing I'm gonna have to do, but I know this part of what I need to do. Like, and that's the main thing that you have to remember. Like, you gotta be able to see it at the end. Not to sound like, cause you hear people that be trying to motivate tell you that, but you really have to you really have to see the end no matter what. Like dream about that. Like see yourself really. I've always saw myself even before me and my wife go buy a house. I walk in that house, I already know like I could picture how the furniture gonna be set up. I could picture how my kids playing or whatever. Like there's been me like from the stuff that my dad did, like, and it stuck with me. So, but people just have to take pride from that standpoint that, like, I'm willing to submit myself for information if I need to,
Mm.
I'm willing to work to work wherever I need to work at to help me get to where I'm trying to get. So, that's my take on it.
And I do, and it's just like how you saying people take pride in certain things instead of digging themselves out of a situation. And what I find, a lot of people are talented, but they don't see the value in what they provide, like with the cooking dinners. You could be cooking for your friends for free and never thought like, hey, well, y'all, are making cakes. Remember the lady in Jersey sold her house, saved their house from foreclosure because she made cakes. Like put those skills to work. Diamond, you remember for your prom, it was a young lady. She did y'all makeup. She charged, and we was like,
She did just her prom, and she had to go to prom herself.
self.
Yeah.
And she was making a hustle around, wedding
Doing
season,
makeup.
young lady, your wedding season, prom
All
season.
right, so 18 at the time. 18.
And doing makeup as a business. So why would you do like the young ladies? I love it that do people lashes. Like Charlotte, his wife took her talent of braiding hair. She was doing it out of her house and turned it to a business.
Or
So
like I was telling you, the woman I just went to, I did a cooking class, and she usually do groups.
Yeah.
I was the only one. She was like, "You must be from the East Coast because only East Coast people do things like women do things by themselves." You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so, but she do a whole cooking class by herself outside of her house. And it's like, and she lives in like a mobile home too, and it's beautiful. I don't want to say, it's beautiful, beautiful place. But she purchased them little $32 things from Amazon, and they're like portable stoves, and everybody get a little portable stove when she showed you how to cook a certain meal. Like, so we did a steak dinner. But she was like, "This is what I want to do. This is my passion. I want to teach people." And I was like, "Well, what do you think about a food truck?" And she's like, "I don't want to do food trucks. I want to teach people how to cook." And that's what she does. And she was like, she want to do that full time. But I'm like, if you put that on social media, you tell people that you're there, you could do that full time. And she was like, Valentine's Day, she had whole groups of people. They did a whole little game show and all this other stuff like that to do like a cooking contest. But it's like, whatever you want to do, whatever God put in you, you're able to do that full time. And I believe that.
And somebody put a comment, a lot of people don't believe in themselves. And a lot of people don't know, like you said, the value to what they give to other people. And what I encourage y'all, if y'all are doing things for your friends or, whatever, you have a talent, even like Charlotte with braid hair. She was just talented in that. Go and look at the prices on the marketplace. Even if you don't want to charge them top dollar, look with the service that you're providing, what is reasonable. Because I think even Sarah Lee, she was working at what they said at a diner, and she just made a real good pie.
But can I say something on top of that? It's like what you think that you're doing for other people isn't actually it. Like say with Charlotte. Charlotte thinks that she's just braiding hair, but she's really good at just connecting with people and counseling people. And so she might think that her purpose is braiding, but it's not braiding, it's counseling and it's connection and it's bringing people together. And I think that that's what's in people. It's like you think that you're good at a skill, but it's really the thing around the skill, and it's really bringing people together. And so with Corey, it's like, okay, maybe he felt like I'm good at making books, but it's more than that. Like you're creating a life for people, especially in the United States. Because if I'm not wrong, other systems outside the United States don't actually use a real credit system. But in the United States, that's a bit like your whole life is on stake for if you get a house, it's on a credit system. If you're able to get a car, it's on a credit system, the things that you're able to obtain. And so it's not just like a credit system, but it's like how do you deal with the finances of your life? How do you deal with those things? You know what I mean? And so it's much bigger than what people usually think it is. So even like how we talk about Charlotte is much bigger than just braiding hair, but it's connecting people. It's bringing people together. It's counseling people.
And on top of one thing I always told Charlotte, her professionalism.
Yeah.
Even when she was working at home, starting off, she's always timely. She's always like, she not frying chicken and putting you, she was always.
But even when the kids is there, she's professional.
She was always professional. And some of this stuff that y'all doing for other people, if you learn how to be professional, when she transitioned into a shop, it was already, the professionalism was there. You know what I'm saying? So like the person said, a lot of people don't believe in themselves. Believe in yourself and value what you're doing. Take an examination, because a lot of us do stuff for people for free. I'll be honest with the credit, how I started. Michelle was telling me, Michelle Peters, she was like, I would tell them stuff about credit because me and Mike would have these conversations. Like, Corey P. Smith, we would just read them books, his books for our own self-development. I wasn't out here, and I'm just being real, Mr. Smith. It was self-development. And so what Mr. Smith did, he invested in himself. That's how he was able to bring this stuff to you. Invest in his books. You know, buy his
do yourself a favor.
Invest in yourself. Do yourself a favor.
You deserve
it. You're worth it. Buy all of his books tonight. I'm telling y'all, buy this man books. And I'm telling you, because that's where I launched out here. And I had gathered not only his book, you know, Mike, you bought me a lot of stuff.
And it's not all about credit, it's about mindset too. You won't get a different mindset as well. So believe me, do yourself a favor. Believe me, your family gonna love it. You deserve it. You're gonna be more of an asset to your family.
And then some of the stuff, and I won't beat a dead horse, because some people got offended, sir, with the Trump thing that you said. They can't grasp it. I'm saying they can't grasp it because they haven't changed their mindset. So it's like that coldest winter ever. I would have tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen anyway. Some of y'all are so entangled in certain things. If we even tried to tell you, we can't even have that conversation with you tonight, because you're really just not at that state of mind. And if that's one thing about Robert, I told y'all, watch what offends you. Because somebody said, I'm about to click off. Well, go ahead and stay with that bad credit, boo, and stay broke. This is why you broke today, because a lot of y'all too offended. And anytime somebody brings something to you that don't align with your broke behind mechanism and ways of doing it, you sign off. And that's why you in the same position. I'm sorry, I just got
to say a lot of people have
know that. That's how you broke.
And I have to give all thanks, and I have to say, and I tell my mother this all the time. I say that her work ethic is different. Like, she just has a different ethic. And it's like the consistency to be here every single Saturday is crazy. And it's only because of her. Because if it was up to me, y'all wouldn't see me. That's period. And that's just the truth. It's the truth. And I say, like, my mother's work ethic, Sherry's work ethic is different. Like, she's just different in this thing. But genuinely, it's because that she has a heart for it. And she wants to see not only just Black people, but people in general do better.
She wants you to win.
Yeah, it's true. And it's true. And it's like, and she'll be like, I'm about to switch the whole game up, and I'm about to talk about finances. And I'm like, Mom, you were talking about finances the whole time. Like your whole message, it wasn't just credit, it was generational wealth. And that's really her thing. It's like, I want to say publicly, my mother is the backbone of this family, and she holds it down. Like, that's just is what it is. And she want to show y'all how to be the backbone of your family. And I see that that's passion in it. And she think that that's through credit, but it's through everything. And so she'll be like, I'm about to switch over. I'm about to be talking about finances. I'm like, you was talking about finances this whole time. It wasn't just that. It was everything. She's talking about, how do you be the backbone of your entire family? Because that's what she is, genuinely. And she know, I say, in this content, I said, Ma, you just got to work ethic. She's like, nah, it's just, I said, "Now listen."
And you know what it is? I've been broke.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no.
I've been
It's not even
broke.
that. It's not even. It's not about being broke. It's just
about
simply
being
the
broke.
fact of
About being broke.
no, it's not. It's not. It's certain people in this world have a different work ethic than other people. That's
No, you know what is why I say that? It's about being broke because I had been good and broke, right? No, I'm just listen.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna let Mr. Smith go, but I've been broke. And so what I'm just saying, when you've been broke and you see an opportunity and you know this is an opportunity, you want I hate that I miss some opportunities. And I hate to see other people miss opportunities when you can change your situation. And I know don't charge what I say to everybody else because Mike know that. He always told me, not on your watch, huh? Nope, not on my watch. That's my thing. He like, you don't know how to shut up, or you don't know how that was the not on your watch, huh, Sherry? Not on my watch. No, I get up early for this. And the thing is, because I'm passionate, I'm like Diamond said, nobody ain't saying with whoever met me, Sherry, either you gonna hate me or you gonna like me. That's just it. I don't have nobody that take me in between. And I prefer it like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not wishy-washy. And what I'm just telling y'all, I want y'all to win. Listening to this, what these people are saying. And I'm saying this man that's successful, maybe change your mindset. Don't let offense rob you. That's all I'm just telling. And I've been saying this whole thing. Some of y'all are way too offended. You got to learn how to sit under something. You ain't got to agree with everything. But what I'm just saying, just be able to listen to something and just like I said, I don't take everything Dave Ramsey say and make it but I could take parts of what he said and Mike, like just take parts of it, and then some things are good and some things aren't. So that's all.
All right, I guess.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I just want to say that's the look. I'll try not to be in those signs because we Christian people over here, but that's the Aries in her, and it's just about it's just hard working. That's just what it is. I don't know what to say. Like I say all the time, I have not even a quarter of my mother's work ethic, and it's just what it is. It's just what it is. But yeah, I thank y'all so much, and I'm gonna leave the links to everybody's social medias. As we always say, that every single live is available. It's like right after this live ends, because a lot of y'all ask, like, how can I catch this? So it will be a replay after the live ends, and we do try our best to make sure that all of the links and everybody that you see here, there's Sherry Beckley, there's Corey Smith, there's Mike T, there's Diamond Chanel, because I've seen some people asking, like, I don't know who's who. Well, you're going to know after this live. So we're going to put the links in the description, and y'all will be able to connect with who you want to connect with. And that's all I have to say.
And thank you so much, Mr. Smith. Well, let me go to Mike. Mike, you got the last word, and I want to give the guest the final word.
No, like I said, I'm just like I said, happy to just to be on here, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it just a lot. So.
And Mr. Smith, we gotta tell you, my mama watching, and she like, Corey gonna be. my mama been reading your book. But I told her, I said, Mom, guess who we gonna have on? And she like, who? I said, Corey P. Smith. She like, Corey. Even my mom been. my mama fan. She been reading your books for years too. So I just want to let you know, if you ain't, if nobody else you ain't help out, you helped us out.
Yes.
No doubt. Yeah, I appreciate y'all having me on. I'll just say this. I know you put the link, but like I said, I do a class like every month or every other month. Like if you want the link to it, you can email me at CoreySmith1793@gmail.com, and I'll send the link. I feel like I share some things when I do the events, and sometimes I have some of my friends on, but this time it's gonna be me. I'm probably gonna talk about like the little car play, like how how I did is probably gonna get blown up, but you know, and just some of the stuff that I've done. Like somebody asked me, man, how do you make money? Just flat out ask me that. So I'll tell you some of the stuff that I do or have done. You know,
And I'm
shoot,
dropping it right now. His event link. I'm sorry if we did not, and we're gonna pin it. So if y'all want to join if you want to join his event, and I'm gonna support myself. So I'm gonna join myself because I can always use knowledge, but I will not be. The game is sold and not told. So y'all support Mr. Smith and support his events, you guys. So I'm dropping
and
it.
there's so much more we want to talk about, and we would love to have you back on and talk about those different things.
Yeah.
I feel like we didn't hit on everything, and so there's so much more we want to hit on.
Yeah. I think I sent her one book, but one book I think everybody's gonna be happy when I put out, and it's The Secret to Building Shelf Corps, because don't nobody know how, but I'm gonna tell them how to build it. You know, it's better to build it yourself than to spend cash on one.
That's
But
awesome.
anyway.
And would you come back when the book drop, or do you want to?
Yeah, come back.
Oh, yeah, come back.
Yeah.
No. It's an open door policy for you. We're here every, like I said, Saturday. So you got my my contact information. We got each other. You're more than welcome to come up and join the panel. You really would be a blessing whenever you're free if you want to, come up. So you're more than welcome.
Right. I'm gonna hit you up too about what we talked about beforehand, and like I said, I'll be in Texas like around the 28th.
Don't drop our location though.
Nah, I'm not gonna do that.
Yo, I be talking too much crap online.
Yeah. Nah, I ain't gonna
drop nobody roll up on us. We'll text
you too. Constitutional carry down here.
We'll text about it.
Roll up on us.
I know what I'm dealing with.
Find out.
Yeah, my wife's an Aries too. So y'all the same sign.
Hello.
Man, she'll get to it.
He is the epitome of Aries.
When y'all greet us in Texas, just make sure you wave. Don't
Amen.
No, but I appreciate.
But no, I'm not.
All the links is going to be in the description as soon as this live in, because a lot of people watch this live once it ends. So you're going to have Corey's, you're going to have Sherry's, you're going to have Mike's, you're going to have Diamond's. All of our links is going to be in the description and in the comment section. So I thank y'all so much for joining.
And sign up for Mr. Smith Eventbrite. We're going to drop that too. So we're going to make sure if y'all want to join and take part of his information, you make sure, because he's a beast. So for sure. All right.
Y'all take it easy. I'm out.
All right. Enjoy your night. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your night. See y'all next week. Bye-bye.
Right.